I wake up with passion and gratitude as I start my day with determination and laser-like focus to be at the top of my game. I have an unwavering belief in my ability to succeed. I have the courage to follow my heart and my intuition. I swim upstream and challenge the status quo. I will not settle for a life of mediocrity. I do not succumb to destructive spiral of negativity, but choose to see each challenge as an opportunity. I dream big, but also embrace the magic of tiny steps, knowing each one is moving me closer to my goal. I may fall, I may fail, I may lose it all, but with every blow I get stronger. With every mistake, I get wiser. With every challenge, I become braver. I face adversity head on. I'm an innovator, a job creator, but above all, a nation builder. I was made to do great things, to contribute to something larger than myself. I can adapt, I can change, but I will never, never surrender.
Small. What does it mean? Ask a dictionary and you'll get a size that is less than normal or usual. Or worse, insignificant, unimportant. Here's what we think at Absa. Small means community, your neighbor. It means that cup of coffee that you buy from the cafe on your way to work. The suit in the shop window that you promise you'll get one day. It's the family restaurant that you run into to grab lunch or dinner. The haircut you get together with free advice. It's Marilo's Bakery. Because when you look at the big picture, small is huge. And it's why we back small businesses. Play your part and shop local every hashtag Absa Small Biz Friday. And be the me in SME. Let's grow Mzansi kaofela. Visit absa.co.za to find out how hashtag Absa Small Biz Friday benefits us all. We do more so small businesses can thrive. That's Africanacity.
All right, very big, extreme, exciting, good morning, happy spring day, happy Absa Small Business Friday. And as we know, for the 12th edition now, Absa Small Business Friday is the biggest small business day of the year. We know the importance of small business. Small business is the solution to unemployment. It's the driver of job creation. It's the biggest thriving contribution to our economy. So we as a nation have a responsibility, whether we're a consumer, whether we're a small business, a big business, or we're a government, we have a responsibility to go behind the small business sector, to help them stay in business, grow bigger and more successful businesses so that they can employ others. So this morning is our national celebration event. And of course, I'm super excited for a number of reasons. First of all, of course, in a few minutes, I'm going to invite a very special guest, the executive from Absa, Vignesh Subramani, who is the head of sales planning at SME Business Absa. He's going to be engaging with me in a Q&A session and also to learn why Absa is so important part of this incredible movement. Why are they so passionate about small business? And of course, I'm excited to do that. And then before I do that, I just want to ask all our attendees out there, please tell us where you're from. Please tell us how excited you are. Please tell us how your businesses are going. We know it's a vibrant time of the year. It's a good feeling time of the year. I love this time of the year, spring. So of course, it's very important that we embrace this era. So, and then of course, a few little house rules, if you don't mind. If something goes wrong with technology, we all know by now that it does and it can happen. But something goes wrong, don't leave us, we'll be back. But all I can say is over the many years since the pandemic started, we have been very honored and grateful that these problems haven't materialized on our platforms. So that's a positive note. And then of course, watch the chats on your right, use the chats on your right. We're going to place up a couple of messages there. Well, I can't keep track of these comments. Guys out there, thank you for so much positivity and for making the comments and telling us where you're from. We're moving fast on the right there. So, but if you've got any questions through the morning, please pop them onto the chat. If we can't get them to you, if we can't answer you right away, we will, of course, come back to you. So let's keep that going. And then after my Q&A with Vignesh from Absa, we're going to have the panel on, and of course, an exciting panel. And what's so amazing about our panel are SMEs. They are all national champions, and we're going to get into that in a few moments. But Vignesh, please join me on stage. I can't wait to engage with you. Vignesh, a very big morning. And over the past couple of, it's not the first time we've met many times before, but thank you so much for being part of this morning. And thank you so much, and Absa, for what you do for small business South Africa.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having us. 12 years going strong, biggest small business day of the year. Really happy to be part of this partnership, and good morning to all of our viewers and people that have joined us online. Thanks for taking the time. Happy Spring Day. Thanks, Mike. Great to be part of it. Thanks so much.
Yes, and just a word of notice, if anybody wants to borrow money, please don't send Vignesh an email right now. He's got busy things to attend to. Right. So let's get the show on the road. Vignesh, I've got a couple of questions that have come through, and of course, important ones. And but guys, as I say out there to all our attendees, if there's anything that is not in this discussion and you'd like me to bring it to Vignesh's attention, please do so. Please keep the comments positive. Spring Day is positive. Absa Small Business Friday is extremely positive. So let's keep the conversation going and let's keep it dynamic. And welcome, Michael Green, Dynamic Construction. I look forward to engaging with you. Now, Vignesh, Absa, I'm looking at these questions because quite simply it's unplanned. So I've been given these notes now. So my apologies to all our attendees if I'm referring to some notes, but of course it's meant to be that way. Absa has been on a journey to support SMEs, a segment that has been particularly hard hit. Why is SME such an important segment for our economy and for Absa as a bank?
Thanks, Mike. Well, Mike, SMEs, contribute over 40% of the country's GDP at the moment, right? About 2/3 of our workforce, work for SMEs. And while that's fine, one of the things we've seen is, SMEs are operating in a really tough, economic conditions at the moment, right? And so the thing that's really clear for us is that South African SMEs in particular, there's real grit there. There's real resilience coming through. And for us as Absa, it's important that we see how we support, the SMEs in this process. And so that's why it's such a key focus for us.
Yeah, and there's a lot of innovation, Vignesh, in the banking space at the moment, and of course you've all seen that. And there seems to be a drive to offer low-cost digital banking. How has Absa's SME solution evolved over the past few years?
It's interesting that you use the word evolved, Mike. We have the Absa Business Evolved proposition, and true to its name, it's a solution that allows SMEs to get into the evolved product, and as their businesses evolve over time, and go through the different business cycle, they get to keep that account and then move through different packages that suits the business needs. We even have a Evolve Lite option, which does not have a monthly service fee. And so, we understand that, while SMEs are trying to get going, we don't want them to worry about a monthly banking fee, on top of everything else. And so that offering, really gives a cost-effective solution for SMEs. On the digital front, we've seen a lot of innovation within the banking space. Banking is not a place that you go to anymore. It's something that you do. And in doing so, we understand that cash flow is really critical for SMEs. Being able to accept payments is really, really critical. And it's really the lifeblood of those businesses. And so we also launched the mobile pay solution, which allows SMEs to effectively accept payments, wherever they are, whatever they're doing, through an Android smartphone. just by downloading the mobile pay Absa from the App Store, the app from the App Store, and then effectively using it to be able to accept payments. The other cost effectiveness that comes with mobile pay is that you don't have sort of call out costs or maintenance costs, as an example, because effectively it's an app that runs off your smartphone. So that's some of the ways in which we're digitizing payments as well, allowing our SMEs to be able to function effectively.
No, absolutely, Vignesh. Now you know that we all know that the movement, Small Business Friday, Absa Small Business Friday, is the biggest movement globally because of the importance behind it. Now, my big question, Vignesh, why is the Absa Small Business Friday movement so important to Absa?
It's about supporting small business, Mike. We understand that if we're going to grow business locally, we've got to support business locally. And so we launched the Absa Small Business Friday Rewards Initiative, which ties up very nicely to Small Business Friday. It rewards our Absa customers who shop at participating SME outlets on Fridays to earn double cash back, when they use their Absa card or on an Absa card machine. So it's really a virtuous cycle, between our Absa personal banking customers as well as our SME customers. It's really about creating that movement. The video that we saw earlier talks about supporting your local businesses. When I was growing up, my mom ran a tuck shop, and so she was a SME as well. And you understand the effects of supporting local businesses. So that's really critical for us as an economy.
And absolutely, as you said before, it's tough out there, but what we do know about business owners running SMEs is that they are resilient, and I did mention to offline earlier, I was interviewed by BBC not long ago, and they spoke about small business and the influx of investment into South Africa. And they commented, not me, they commented, and they through their research, they clearly stated that the small business owner in South Africa is the most resilient and the most positive of any other small business around the world. And it's so exciting to hear that from foreign broadcasters and from influential foreign people. And I've been traveling around the country over the past few weeks, interviewing many small businesses from all sectors, and I just couldn't find this there. Look, it's tough out there. We know that it's tough out there. It's challenging, but we do know the small business owner in South Africa doesn't stand for that. They stand for resilience, positivity, and just keeping going. And that's what makes the sector such a thriving and exciting part of our economy. So I'm truly grateful for that comment, Vignesh. Now, Vignesh, what are some of the benefits for SMEs when using Absa merchant devices for the Absa Small Business Friday and generally small business across the country?
So firstly, Mike, we understand that SMEs don't necessarily have large amounts of resources to be able to market their businesses effectively as they would. And so through Small Business Friday, one of the things we do is really provide SMEs with marketing collateral that shows that they are participating outlets. One, two, we also use through rewarding our Absa personal banking customers through double earn that they get for spending at SMEs. We also believe that we're driving demand towards those SMEs. And so there's really that kind of double benefit that our SMEs get. It's exposure to the market, visibility to show that they're part of this movement. But secondly, also in getting our own Absa customers to support them even more by swiping their cards and earning double spend. So it's also, positive turnover and increase in turnover for the SMEs that participate, on our Small Business Friday campaign.
Mm-hmm. Now, what we do know, Vignesh, is that Absa Small Business Friday is not only about small businesses or SMEs and SMEs. You also want to encourage all the consumers through the nation to get involved. Why is that so important?
Well, Mike, it's really strongly anchored in our belief that we need to play a meaningful role in changing, the trajectory of South African business. We want to be closer to customers and closer to communities. And so we are encouraging, individuals to support local businesses, local small businesses. These small businesses will be able to build their infrastructure, employ more people from local communities, and therefore, also has positive implications for unemployment and driving job creation. It really is, in the true sense of the word, meaningful nation building.
Yeah, and Vignesh, you're 100% right. If you think about it, it's ultimately the consumer that will make small business successful in South Africa, because if you're a business owner, you're a consumer. If you're CEO of a large company, you're a consumer. If you're a government dignitary, you're a consumer. So it all begins with the consumer. So the whole mobilization action is to really change the mindset of the millions, to go out there, no matter where you are or who you support, to go out there and support that local small businesses. And I love what you said there, because of course, if small business can win, they can build infrastructure, employ more from the local communities, hence meaningful nation building. And that's really what it's all about: alleviating unemployment, driving job creation within the small business sector. And not only South Africa, around the world, it's recognized that the small business sector is the sector that's going to make the difference. Not long ago, I was interviewed by the European Union talking on small business. And like you said from the outset, 2/3 of our working population work in a small business. And the fact is, by 2030, more than 92% of the consumers will work in a small business. Now, Vignesh, the fact is, and you know that, is that in the European Union, it's 94%, and in Switzerland, it's 98% of the working population work in a small business. So that's the global trend. And that's why we've got to keep small businesses in business. Yes, we have to create new small businesses, but equally as important, we have to keep them there, help them grow so that they can employ others. And that's the full circle role of generating the future's wealth and, of course, a sustainable economy. So thank you for that, of course. Now, how, in your opinion, can of course, South Africa get involved in the movement?
One of the simplest ways to do this, Mike, is to show support and spread the word. Small Business Friday for us is a movement. It's not it's more than a rewards program. More than supporting our SMEs through discounted rates, on their device rentals. Apart from that, which is a great benefit for the SMEs, for us, it's really a movement. And so one of the simplest ways is to spread the word about Small Business Friday. Many small businesses, as I mentioned earlier, they don't have significant budgets for marketing or advertising. And one of the most powerful ways in, referring business is word of mouth. And so, word of mouth is often a really powerful tool in reaching potential customers. So if you've purchased something from a small business or a woman-owned business, locally, like I used an example earlier, make sure you tell your friends and family, about it. Post a positive comment, give a positive review on Google reviews. Tell your friends and family about a particular product. Because as humans, we rely on those kind of recommendations, to make our own decisions, and so by doing that, you really be able to support small business. So that's how South Africa can get involved, in my view.
You're 100%, and like you always say, like referral marketing is the finest form and the most cost effective. So tell for all of us out there, tell your neighbor, tell your cousin, your auntie, your experience that you had at that local mom and pop store, and help them build. Now, my final question on this, of course, Q&A discussion, not for the event, but from a brand perspective, do you believe that the Absa Small Business Friday will set you apart from the rest?
Absolutely, Mike. We recognize the role of SMEs as a bank. Our program drives a flow towards our customers. It drives demand towards our customers through giving our personal banking customers double earn on their spend at participating SMEs. There's marketing material out there that shows the public that the SME is participating, in Small Business Friday. So buyers know two things, right? One is that they're supporting a local business, and two, they also benefit from doing so. And so, aligned to today's theme, Mike, today marks the spark of new beginnings, and aligned to that also, we want to invite our attendees that have joined to reach out to us, for us to make contact with them for any support that they may require. So we'll post a link in the chat, and they can really use that to reach out to us. We do believe that we can contribute meaningfully to the communities in which we operate, and so we really want to cater for their needs. I think just to ask from my side is, be a part of the Small Business Friday, Absa Small Business Friday community. Earn cash back every Friday when you shop local using your Absa card. You simply need to find an Absa Small Business Friday partner near you, and let's work together and assist local businesses and contribute to the economy.
Absolutely, Vignesh. And now, please stay with me, Vignesh. Let's welcome our small business panel on. Please join us, Leanne, if you can bring them on stage. Bring some excitement. Let me just get this down here. There we go. Right. Great. Guys, very good morning. Thank you for joining us. Sammy, I was worried about you, Sammy. We lost you earlier on the test there, but I know the reason why you weren't with us. You were too busy making money, Sammy. So congratulations to that.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's wonderful to see you, Sammy, another champion. I'm going to introduce these amazing people. And Sammy, I don't know if you've met Vignesh. Vignesh is from Absa, of course, and he is the head of sales planning at SME Business, Absa, South Africa. And it's because of Vignesh and his co-executives that we are able to do this, to help thousands of small businesses around the country. So a very big welcome. Dina Tolotti, Varsity Vibe, Ayanda Moore, Apara Global, and of course, Sammy. Have I got your surname correct? Mahole, is that correct, Sammy?
Mahole, you're getting there.
Oh, thank you, Sammy, from Kick Sportswear. Now, let me give you a bit of background on these amazing people before we start. Sammy is the top 20 winner in the 2022 South African Small Business Awards. He won the South African National Startup Champion. And it's because of people like Sammy, we are going to create jobs out there. So, Sammy, welcome to you. Then we have Ayanda Yukana from Apara Global. Ayanda is the top 20 winner in the 2022 South African Small Business Awards. Then she goes on to win the 2022 South African National Community Upliftment Award. What an amazing award. Then we have Dina Tolotti of Varsity Vibe. Dina, another top 20 winner in the 2022 South African Small Business Awards. And Dina is the 2022 South African National Innovation Award winner. So amazing champions. Again, a very big congratulations. I know you've been congratulated many times, but of course on Absa Small Business Friday, we're going to do that again. So thank you for joining in on this panel. And I know that our attendees, I mean, this has been streamed to millions of people around the country, business owners, the media, entrepreneurs, people who are thinking about starting a business, corporate executives, government officials. They're all here witnessing this amazing experience this morning. And I've got a couple of questions I've been put forward here. I'm not going to ask all the questions to everyone because we will be here until Absa Small Business Saturday 2024. So let's start off by popping a few. Just a quick, tell us briefly about yourselves and your business, starting on top left. Dina, just a quick insight.
Hi, sorry. Cape Town born and bred. I saw a niche, but my dad made sure that I finished my studies first, and then he said, basically, become an accountant, and then you can start your business. Okay, so then, and thankfully he did, because it sort of set me up nicely, gave me a good grounding, and from there I was able to grow quite nicely. But yeah, I worked 3 jobs while I was at varsity, and I would always ask for a discount. So I realized there was a big need for a platform whereby businesses could talk to students and students could talk to businesses, and I created Varsity Vibe. And basically, we're the student discount app in South Africa. We now real-time verify students for businesses, so they don't have to anymore. And we have set up partnerships with people like H&M, Cotton On, Burger King, Nando's, and a whole bunch of very nice student businesses as well. So as good as having the big brands on, having the small businesses is what really breathes life into the product. And we've actually set up a few businesses, like trajected them up onto a bigger platform. So that's been really fun and interesting to sort of see. So something that started really small, just one university, we sort of grew with time and a little bit of hard work, and consistency.
Well done. As we always say, big things start small. So, of course, a very big congratulations and thank you for that. Ayanda, a bit about yourself and your business, if you don't mind me.
Thank you, Mike. I'm born and bred from the Eastern Cape in King Williamstown, and I failed matric, and that was a turning point for me. And I studied mechanical engineering, so I'm a professional engineer, and I'm passionate about fashion. And I started the business because there are a lot of young people who are suffering from a depression, which I experienced when I failed matric. And I've always wanted to teach youngsters how to develop yourself, how to know yourself, how to actually understand who you are and what's your purpose in life. And for me to do that, I could do a business that just comes naturally, which is clothes. So Para Global dresses people. It's a wardrobe management company. We also produce our own in-house designs, which are produced from recycled fabric. And from there, when you buy our clothing, you basically invest in a young mind. So we go out there and we teach youth about themselves. And whilst we do that, we also give out shirts, jerseys to high school learners or primary school learners based in the rural areas. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, Ayanda, so you bounced back from adversity and you moved on to greatness. Well done to you. Great story, of course. But of course, Sammy, please, a bit about yourself, Sammy, and your business. I think you're on mute, Sammy.
Technology does that sometimes to me. So I'm from Tembisa, born and bred in Tembisa. I started my first business at the age of 14 on the street of Tembisa selling ice cream. And I suppose at the time, selling ice cream for me was the quickest way for me that I can merge in with what's so-called then the normal kids. I wanted to be normal. I wanted to fit in within the school environment because my father could not afford most of the things that I wanted and that looked normal within the society. And that's where my entrepreneurship journey. I'm the founder and the CEO of Kick Sportswear. We produce and make feel-good sportswear that is a pleasure to wear. We wanted to create products that are a pleasure to wear, but at the same time to have a feel-good that when you're wearing represents something that is from Africa to the world. And that is where we sit in. We wanted to create a sports brand that is not just compromising in terms of quality, but wanted to create a sports brand that we can be proud of, we can love it and enjoy it. And so far, where I'm broadcasting from, I'm broadcasting from Festival Mall, one of our stores, which we've opened after we won our award. We employ and we continue to be a platform for an entrepreneurship, which is what I'm passionate about. And when growing up, I used to watch a show called Law and Order. And as I continue to grow up, I've had this passion about being an attorney, but now as you get to be older and older, you realize that actually you didn't want to be an attorney. You wanted to to fight for justice, which is the same justice that I stand for every day for entrepreneurs that works for kicks.
Sammy, great. And then you say looking good and feeling good is a great tip towards achieving success. So I'm sure that the people who wear your sportswear are extremely successful. Well done to that. Dina, back to you. And of course, you know, what do you love the most about what you do, if you can say?
I suppose, I mean, it's great. I mean, the reason why I started was to help students, you know, help them get more bang for their buck. I worked 3 jobs, so I knew how difficult it was to like sort of like survive on a student budget and all the rest of it. And there were people in worse positions than I was. I luckily could work 3 jobs and studying was a little bit easier. But yeah, the biggest sort of joy for me has actually been my staff and watching them grow. And like the people that I've employed, Matt, for instance, he's like my right-hand man, and we do everything together now. But he started in 2013. He was still a first-year student when I first met him at Wits University. And when I first grew, I was just at UCT, and then I went to Wits, and I didn't know the first thing about Johannesburg or Wits. And I met Matt through one of my employees down in Cape Town, and he said, "Oh, you need to meet my friend Matt." And I met Matt, and we headed off, and basically he showed me around Wits campus. And the next year we were doing Wits Vibe. And then, you know, it sort of grew and grew. And I mean, now we're at every university around the country, and it's a varsity vibe. But yeah, there's Matt, there's Donna that joined in 2015. She was part of basically our agents, our vibe crew, you know, and she ran the team in 2015. You know, and she's sort of grown from there, became an intern, and sort of like now she sort of runs a whole bunch of things. And then there's a whole bunch of staff that have come and have left and have like started working at other companies. And, you know, you sort of like help springboard these guys into positions. And like I've trained them myself, and I've sort of tried to instill this idea of like care about what you do. You know, everything that you do, you should care about. Like you put that on a piece of paper, it's got your name on it. You know, you should want to. There's no one checking your work in a small business. You know, it's small, so you need to make sure it's correct. And I mean, Naledi's now been with us. He's been with us for 4 years now, and it's just crazy because you know you sort of. They become more than you spend more time with your staff members than you do with your family sometimes. I mean, every single day. So it really does. I mean, it sounds cliche and like, oh, we're a family, but it really is like that. And we know when each other's birthdays are. There's banter in the office. There's a good like vibe, and I suppose watching them grow up in more ways than one. You know, Matthew got married last year. And I was one of his groomsmen, and it was just it was a very humbling experience for me, you know, sort of seeing this boy turn into a man, and then the same thing with all my staff. It's been a fantastic journey, and then there's just so many of them that I'm still in contact with because we hire about 450 students across the country that are like our agents, and you sort of get to know these guys on an individual basis. Some of them are overseas working, and a lot of the times they just like, do I continue doing this study? You know, like I'm tired of studying. And then you sort of chat to them and ask them certain things. And like now I've got people that are accountants in America, and they message me and they're like, I did it, I passed, you know, like, and they're like, send me something. So I suppose that's been the most rewarding part, is the people, you know, the people that I've gotten to know and meet and sort of grown with, and the more I think I've learned a lot, and I've seen so much. I get sort of surprised every day. So yeah, that's would be the most rewarding part, the people.
Yeah, no, Dina, your passion is obvious. Well done on that one. Yanda, back to you. And I know you mentioned earlier, you know, failing matric, and you know, I love that transparency, that honesty. Because, you know, the road to success is not the perfect curve to the top, and we all face many obstacles. But if that was your biggest challenge, or it may not have been your biggest challenge, but what would you say your biggest challenge has been, and how you overcame that challenge?
My biggest challenge was more onto finding the right people and also funding. So for me, it's not actually, I actually realized it's not about finding the right people, but is to find people who are committed and who share the same vision that you have. So so I had to get people who I would explain to them the vision of Apara and where we are going. And from there, I trained them and they became part of the family, as Dino just said, it's cliche. And with the funding, I self-fund the company. And from there, it's just a cash flow issue. I just needed to get my books, my ducks in the row, or my books in the row. And yeah, we're able to get our cash flow in order. Yeah.
Great stuff. Now, Sammy, a big part of what we do at the NSBC is to change the mindset of the millions that anyone can start a business with just what you have. And I'm going to ask you a question, Sammy. What advice can you give to those who want to start out on their business for the very first time?
I think the biggest part for me is you need to understand that dreams and hopes are not for a selected few, but for all those that are willing to work hard and put in the work in their dreams. It doesn't matter where you come from, you have to be willing to pay the price. You have to surround yourself with the clever people. You have to to understand that being around good people will not actually give you a 10% start to what you want. And you have to be willing to start where you are. When I started my business, cakes, I had nothing and I had no funding. I had literally zero. But I always say to people that if you believe enough in your dream, you got to be the first investor in your dream. You have to look where you are, the environment that you are, what you have that you can sell and turn it around to be a capital that you can use it towards your business. I had to sell my car, I had to sell my home, and literally believe that these assets that I have, if I believe so much in this business, I can turn it around and have them again. After all, these are just things that I would one day leave behind. So the bigger dream, it's not even about the assets, it's about the understanding that you are within your purpose, you are driving this purpose, and you want to create this generational wealth that will sit for many, many years. You have to be able to play within the game. You when you play within the game, you're no longer a spectator. You are literally participating. You're starting to win things. Most of the entrepreneurs, they want to participate in the field, but they sit outside and wait for people to help them. You can no longer afford to wait on the field, outside the field, and cheering for people that are doing the most, and yet you're saying, I'm waiting for funding. You have to be willing to pay the price and participate within the sport of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, Sammy, well done on that. I always say, don't wait until the conditions are perfect, because they will never be perfect. You can spend the rest of your life planning and thinking, and one day you'll wake up on your deck chair and you look back and you say, if only I did this and if only I did that. Because I would rather fail 1,000 times than never try. So thank you for that. I'm going to ask everyone now the last question and the same question. Why should South Africa support Absa Small Business Friday and small businesses throughout our country? Dino, back to you.
I think Vignesh said it the best. What was the stats there? How many, like more than 2/3 are employed by small businesses? It goes without saying there's a huge need for businesses. This is a country full of potential, like absolute potential. We have the most beautiful resources, like natural resources. There's opportunity at every doorstep. We are the most resilient business owners, like entrepreneurs. We sort of see the beauty in everything, and we embrace the difficulty. We embrace it. So we don't look at something as always being a problem. We kind of look at it as like, well, that happened. How do we fix it? How do we get on top of it? And I think our small business owners are sort of your ultimate warrior when it comes to this sort of battle, And And exactly like Sammy said, like there's going to be times where you kind of have to put your own assets on the line. It happened to me. I mean, I was selling shares and taking out loans, and I sold my car, and I sold assets to sort of invest in the company. If you don't believe in yourself, then no one will. But yes, I mean, if there was a way, that there was an easier way to get sort of funding or help, or sometimes people don't need money, they actually just need sort of direction, and this is where I think what Absa is doing here is fantastic. It really does help what you do, Mike, from a national small business company perspective. I mean, this was the first award that we won, and I felt like actual recognition for all the hard work and time and effort that we've put into everything. It's consistent hard work. It's not just like, oh, one day and and I like kind of like checking on my staff to see if they're doing it. No, it's constantly working. So the recognition that was received from this, and also the sort of help that sort of comes from this, and the making people aware that these businesses and people actually exist. I think any sort of assistance when it comes to that is super important, because this is this is the backbone of our economy. And like you were saying earlier, if small businesses are growing, South Africa is growing, and everyone's happy, and this is really where we sort of can explode as a nation, and then sort of like really put ourselves on the map. This is how sort of big companies started as little companies, as small companies, so that's sort of what we have to see, is it's about investing in the future.
Yeah, like you said, whether it's Microsoft and Bill Gates, whether it's Zuckerberg and Facebook, whether it's the list goes on, Larry Ellison, and it just goes on and on. All these great companies have started small, and that's the beginning. So thank you for that. Ayanda, same question over to you.
Yes, I wanted to show this award. This is the award. I'm so proud of the whole team for this award. And a lot of people always ask, what has it done? I think they expect partnership with a big company. I think for us, it's not really about partnering with any big company, but it is for us as a team to recognize and to be recognizable, and that fulfillment that, okay, this is the beginning of the shooting star, and how we're going to sustain that. And the how why South Africa needs to support small businesses is job creation. Job creation is a huge problem in the country, and I think small businesses, they get to a level. I've been in corporate. In corporate, you don't get the same amount of experience or the level of intimacy in terms of skills transfer. And in small businesses, you get a lot of immediate and intimate skills transfer, and more of an empathy leadership, transformational leadership that you get from small businesses. And that's where you get all the spring career paths from all the youngsters that we employ, or any other person that we employ. So I think South Africa needs to really invest in small businesses. Thank you.
Great. Sammy, final one, same question to you, Sammy.
I think for me, entrepreneurship and small business are the back end of what our country needs. And the bigger part for me is that we know that entrepreneurship, as well as SMEs, fired up passion that start from a dream in creating something that works. And from that working model becomes legs that creates job, that creates a platform for entrepreneurship. Then we start moving to a direction where we now starting to talking about revenue, and we start to talk about economy, and the bigger pillar of which is ignored in our country is entrepreneurship, which needs to be supported so much. And through this pillar, it's so important that every support that is given to this pillar, the same breath on every department is allowed to thrive. And without this, this pillar of entrepreneurship as well as small businesses, our country will struggle. This is one department that can actually fill up our country into a change, to the change that we want and the change that we wish for. And most importantly, is to allow our country to move forward in terms of what we can achieve. I mean, since the interception of cakes, we've started from zero, and now we see that our range has grown. But when that grows, it actually creates employment. It starts to feed families. It starts to support many families that relies within our company. And that is the change that we want to see. And entrepreneurs is not just about business, but it's more about the change that we want to see. We want to have as many people starting their business today.
Great, well done, Sammy. Wow, what an inspirational Q&A session with Vignesh, our executive, of course, of Absa, and our team. But I'm not going to ask you guys to leave now. Don't do anything. Leanne's just going to put up a screen here, and we're going to show South Africa how they can go out today and support Absa Small Business Friday. So, Leanne, if you can do that, the National Supporter Pack. You can download the National Supporter Pack. They're going to put the link on the right there. So you can really go out there, encourage your neighbors, drive the movement, drive the hashtag Absa Small Biz Friday. So there it is on the right there. Please get your supporter pack, download it, and let's drive the nation to go big by supporting the small. 3 things there. Say thank you for the support. Get involved by posting a thank you message to South Africa, supporting their businesses, and share the impact their support has on them, their employees, and their families. Point 1. Point 2, announce yourself as a proud supporter of small business. Show your customers that you're taking part in Absa Small Business Friday and are invested in rebuilding South Africa through small business growth. Growth, of course. Point 3, walk the talk. In the spirit of the day, go out and support your local small businesses today and share your experience on social media and challenge others to do the same all around you. Those are the 3 things. And then bring in your own innovative ways of really driving everyone around you, driving the nation, powering up social media to really mobilize everyone out there. It's meaningful nation building, and it's going to drive our economy, and it's going to make our place an even better place to live. So, Leanne, you can bring us back. So, guys, that's a few ways where you can support the movement and, of course, small business throughout the country. But before I say goodbye to everybody, I just want to remind us that next week is another big week. And, of course, what we do know, it's Africa's biggest business event, which is our event, and of course powered by the big players. And as always, Absa is a major player there. Sandton Convention Center, 6th, 7th of September. It's the biggest business and entrepreneurial event, and one of the biggest in the world now, where we have over 25,000 attendees. These attendees are business owners and those who are serious about starting a business, who are coming to the event to really be inspired, to network, to grow, and of course to have fun. And throughout those 2 days, we have amazing activities, unrivaled networking, the Build a Business Live masterclass and seminar series. I have the absolute privilege of opening the talk on both mornings, and of course the Absa VIP lounge is there, the Absa Pavilion. Come and meet the entire team of Absa there. So, guys, if you haven't got your free ticket, please get your, Alicia, if you can pop the web address on there, please get your free ticket now. Everything is sponsored, and of course, only pre-registration is free. So it's 2 days you cannot miss out on, 6th, 7th of September, next week. It's, of course, the Business Show Africa 2023. It's a must-attend event. It's the accelerator of success. There it is on your chat box. Pop on there and please come and join us. Vignesh, thank you again. We really are grateful for what you and your co-executives do, and Absa as a brand. you passion behind what you do it for that reason, helping others. We are truly grateful to have you on as the title sponsor of the most important and biggest small business event movement in South Africa. Truly grateful. And to Dino, Ayanda, Sammy, come to the show next week. Come and share your experiences. The media want to talk to you. And again, to everyone out there, stay on now. We're going to watch the 2 closing videos. To all our attendees, it's because of you guys we can do what we do. So we are certainly grateful that you've taken some time this morning to witness these amazing champions, to say thank you to Absa for what they do for small business South Africa. So please don't leave us. Watch the video, and then, of course, have a wonderful Friday, great weekend, and get yourselves revved up for next week at the Business Show Africa. Thank you all.
Come on, come on.
Small. What does it mean? Ask a dictionary and you'll get a size that is less than normal or usual. Or worse, insignificant, unimportant. Here's what we think at Absa. Small means community. Your neighbor. It means that cup of coffee that you buy from the cafe on your way to work. The suit in the shop window that you promise you'll get one day. It's the family restaurant that you run into to grab lunch or dinner. The haircut you get together with free advice. It's Marilo's Bakery. Because when you look at the big picture, small is huge. And it's why we back small businesses. Play your part and shop local every hashtag Absa Small Biz Friday. And be the me in SME. Let's grow Mzansi kaofela. Visit absa.co.za to find out how hashtag Absa Small Biz Friday benefits us all. We do more so small businesses can thrive. That's Africanacity.